Hello, I'm Jan Jorgensen, and I'm here with Jocelyne Dubois. We're talking about Memorial Suite and her life experiences. And to begin, I will share these words of her biography. Jocelyne Dubois' work frequently deals with mental health. A survivor herself, she gives talks in schools, hospitals, and community settings to help reduce the stigma of mental illness. Also a visual artist, her paintings have been exhibited in Montreal galleries. Her novel, World of Glass, was a finalist for the 2013 QWF Paragraph Hugh McLennan Prize for Fiction. Her short stories have appeared in Matrix, the Dalhousie Review, Exile, Carte Blanche, Transition, and the Toronto Quarterly. Her poetry has appeared in Canadian Women's Studies at York University, Truck, and in translation in Brève Littéraire. Doodling Moods, a hardcover book of doodle self-portraits done during the COVID-19 crisis, and her poetry chapbook, Hot Summer Night, were published by Sky of Ink Press. For details and links related to both her visual art and writing, please visit her painting blog at www.duboispaintings.blogspot.com. And so, Jocelyne, when it comes to talking about your struggle with mental illness, do you find that if you mention it to someone that they treat you differently than when they didn't know about your experiences?
Sometimes, most of the time, yeah.
Yeah. And how do you decide what to reveal and to whom?
Okay. Well, when I tell people I'm bipolar, they make all sorts of assumptions because they don't know the disease very well, and everybody's different.
Right.
And 30 years ago, the stigma was very, very bad. That's when I had my breakdown and became bipolar.
Right.
And things are getting better now, because people are talking about it. So there's an interest in society now. And although friends I've known for years, I have a friend that I've known since I'm 12 years old, and two friends that I've known since my early 20s, remain my friends through and through, and they supported me the whole time, and we never lost touch. But I have lost some people in my life because during a crisis, they would freak out and be frightened of me because they didn't understand, or it was too heavy for them.
Right.
So they made themselves scarce. I lost my sister as a friend. I had a crisis with her, and she stopped talking to me, and that was 20 years ago. I tried to get close to her again, but I guess it was too traumatic for her at the time, and she doesn't want to come back into my life. At least not for now.
Yeah.
But I've been stable for 6 years, and I have a beautiful home. I have a wonderful, loving husband who supports me and cares and has been by my side through and through. He's been through 4 hospitalizations with me, and he's still with me. And, I've been very lucky, I guess, in so many ways. But with strangers, when you first meet them and you discuss bipolar disorder, they do change their tune a little bit, Once I did some volunteer work.
Right.
And I was doing very well, and they were very happy with me. And then one day I wasn't feeling well in my head because of the bipolar disorder. So I called up and I said, I won't be coming in today. And then I told them the truth. I said, I suffer from bipolar disorder. And so they stopped calling me after that. There were less and less calls, and they were weeding me out because they didn't understand the illness very well. So, there is a stigma. And I also had a girlfriend who was a boss in a company, and I asked her if she would hire me, knowing that I'm bipolar disorder, and she said probably not. So it's hard to fit in society in general.
Right.
But I don't feel frightened of talking about it today because I'm very stable. And I think there's got to be a discussion.
Right.
And we have to demystify mental illness. And we have to change the system somehow too, like make it better, for people, because you can recover with the right resources. You can recover. But 30 years ago, when I first cracked up, my life was finished. So the system thought, you'll never have a good life again.
Right.
This is it. Excuse me. But I proved them wrong.
Yes.
I'm married. I have good friends. I write, I paint, I read, I cook. I started cooking again about 15 years ago. But for the longest time, I was living on craft dinner.
Right.
Because I was too sick to cook for myself. And I was also too poor.
Right.
And that was before I met my husband.
Right.
And, but anyway, I had to stay on medication for the rest of my life. But I'm on a small dose now. I was over-medicated for 20 years, so I wasn't able to function very well. Right. I was tired all the time and very heavy head. And I would sleep a lot. And but finally, years later, a psychiatrist found the appropriate dose and medication, and I'm doing very well on it right now. But I know that I can't go off it for the rest of my life, because if I go off it, there'll be withdrawal symptoms that I'll get sick.
Right.
And that's dangerous, because I become suicidal when I'm, sick.
Right.
And I take antipsychotic medications. So when I mention to people that I take antipsychotic medications, that makes them feel very uncomfortable, because they don't understand loss of touch with reality, And it can mean different things for different people.
Right.
But, I'm open to discussing it with whoever wants to talk about it.
Right.
And so, to sign off, I'd like to read 2 poems. I have to take my glasses off, though, because I'm nearsighted. So, the first poem I'm going to read is Words. Words do not flow, afraid to open my mouth, afraid of sentences without pause, missing verbs, consonants in the wrong places. I fluster, clam up. 18 years, my head heavy as a boulder. Meds took away the clear picture. I must learn again to speak without stutter, choose syllables, know precisely what not to say. And I'll read one more poem. This one's called Story. And this relates to friendships as well, because that's part of the question. We walked down sidewalks, snow and ice tinted brown. You told me not to talk about it anymore. Limbs heavy, lethargy from meds, nightmares in daylight. You've heard it over and over the past 20 years. I ask you if you think you understand. You say you do. I think you do. But I must write this story. It has been 2 years only that I have a partner, warm clothing, good food. I have written this story many times, but never good enough. Details missing, language flawed. So I'll just sign off for my poetry.
Thank you, Jocelyne.
Oh,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome. Thank you.